Oscar Wilde, the dead English playwright, said, if you're going to tell people the truth, you have to make it funny, or they'll kill you. And I agree. Maybe if I was doing the Love Police out there without any humor, A, I'd have no viewers, and B, I'd probably get killed by an angry mob with a pitchfork, which I'd deserve if I was doing Love Police without any comedy.
Absolutely. So give us a rant there, Charlie. Tell us what's going on here on planet Earth. What do you think you should tell the people? Just let it fly.
All right. Let's just take this to the fundamental level. We are quantum machines with a soul. We are ghosts in a 3D physical world body sent here from the goddess here to discover as many subjective ways as possible. And right now we have a very powerful world experiencing itself subjectively in 7 billion ways, not to mention all the dolphins and the peacocks and the cows and the insects who are all each having their own little experience. I truly believe divinity, Freeman, is to be found in the question, why? We all know the how. We can discuss the how things happen until the cows come home. But the why things happen is the true divinity. I believe that the true nature of spirituality exists in the question, why? And I don't even think the goddess herself knows why reality exists, which is why she keeps manifesting in billions and trillions of different ways, so that every single subjective little reality can have the opportunity to experience all the hate, all the love, all the freedom, all the tyranny, all the jealousy, all the friendships that could possibly exist. And when you start to realize that there isn't any evidence out there that other people actually exist, the only thing which you can truly be sure of that exists is your perception of everything that's going on. There is nothing to say that we are not part of an incredibly powerful spiritual computer which is able to give you the illusion of other conscious minds who seemingly give you the right information at the right time, which challenge you in just the right way. And when you view your reality backwards, almost like sitting, I don't know if you get this in America or anywhere else where people are listening, but in the UK, you can sit on a train but be facing the wrong way. So you can't actually see where the train's going, but when you look out the window, you can see all the countryside and all the buildings flying off into the distance. So when you look at your reality from looking from the present into the past, it almost seems beautifully constructed, how everything seems to fit just into the right place. And the very fact that we are here right now having this conversation with all the listeners listening in shows that for all of us, everything we've ever done has worked out okay thus far. Because here we are, I'm sat here having a nice orange juice, chatting to a cool guy, Freeman, from the Freeman perspective. So that means that every single panic, every worry, every time I've been arrested, every time I've thought I was going to die, hasn't come to fruition. Everything.
Absolutely. The fear is always worse than the actuality. There's no doubt about it. We're back up on a break. Loving you guys. Check out Charlie Veitch on the Love Police. You brought up an interesting point about the jealousy, and it just kind of popped in, but it's something that's been sticking with me. It is that jealousy is what drags everybody else down. It's that jealous monster that doesn't allow someone else to rise. And we find that if you and I, Charlie, were doing well, that if we started to actually make a living at this, we'd start to get some detractors immediately, I'm sure. But people should all of a sudden recognize how much power they have, and that they can uplift those that they need to carry forward.
If we are going to instigate change, that by definition means that there will be something different coming afterwards. I have, from my experience in the last year and a half, I have so much trust in normal human beings that what I would say is that we would self-organize, and that without big government and taxation, I think we would do very well. So what I would like to instigate would be something approaching philosophical anarchism, because we existed for tens of thousands of years, and we never know how old civilized society truly is. Maybe we were, sending telegrams into space 50,000 years ago. Most probably we were. So what the hell was that?
The line's still live.
Okay, so the way I see it, to the caller who just called in, is that we don't need to have any worries about what we're going to replace the system with, because I trust that things will happen organically. When you get a group of people in a very difficult situation, they figure it out. It comes organically. I'm sorry to keep using the word organically, but it is the best way I can describe it. So, small communities, even big communities, are able to police themselves. And if we have a society which has a very high percentage of philosophically, spiritually, and politically awake human beings, then any instance of greed or jealousy or hatred can easily be dealt with at the source without the need for bureaucracy and police and government and armies. Because if we are living in societies without government, it would be actually impossible for millions of people to go to war against other millions of people, because there would not be any organized and concerted nationalism or patriotism which would bind them together. It would be people who are interested in similar sorts of things, forming communities, trading with themselves, trading with others, having small villages. Even big cities, I think, could run without government. To give you an example of where I saw this in play, in London, on any weekend night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can't walk around central London without there being vast amounts of police on the streets. And it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's like someone's farted into my spacesuit, and I just don't like it. And then when I went to
It's almost as if you're a criminal before you do anything.
Yeah. And like when you're a kid, you want to go to a party without the adults. They're watching you because you want a bit of freedom. And I think the police, in the way we've been brainwashed to believe that the police are the kind of the latest version of your parents or your manager or your teacher, the police are there as the kind of parents of the adults. And I went to Germany to meet a German documentary filmmaking team, which I'm going to be working with this year and next year. A wonderful group of guys. And they took me out in Germany, in Cologne, one of the biggest cities in Germany. And I was stunned. And what made me really sad is that I even noticed this when they were like, what? That there were no police. We walked around the city center. We're drinking beer. We're getting leery. We're going to clubs. We're going to bars. And there's thousands of people milling about in the streets. I didn't see any CCTV cameras. I didn't see any policemen, because they stay away from it, because there's that kind of inherent trust between human beings that they'll behave. And that is what is missing in a country like America, or I speak from personal experience in the UK. There isn't that trust in people. They call it the nanny state. So this is why I would like to see a complete disbanding of every single government in the world. I think, as Bill Hicks says, every single government is a liar and a murderer. And the sooner we get away with that, the sooner we can carry on being, the happy apes with overclocked graphics cards, CPU brains that we once were.
Yes, I totally agree with you that, the media puts out the idea that humans are just vile creatures and that you should be afraid, avoid anybody in a van. They constantly are putting these type of messages into their little storylines as just TV shows. And when I see people taken out of their usual occupation and put into, say, a festival or put into a rainbow gathering, all of a sudden, these people are all completely different. They're in a unified field. They're all getting along, talking to one another. I've seen people on city buses where they're all just yay, 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 talking, loving, having a good time with one another. And this is because they've been put together in this group of a festival sensation, whereas if they were all on the same city bus but not going to a festival, not a single one of them would communicate to the other. They'd be afraid to look